The following is a presentation of the Virtual Ball Boys. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys Draft. This is a momentous occasion for the Virtual Ball Boys podcast, and we are glad to be your hosts. Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Buttonpushers, and I am joined with my good friend, Chet Avery.
That's right, Brandon. And you know what the magic word is that we say to start every draft recap that we do?
This is the first one we're doing, but
This is the first one we do, but do you want to know the magic word?
Yes, alright, let me know what the magic word is, friend.
Magic word, of course, is Alakazaba, Alabala, Wisa, Tiki Tala, Fushbar, Griddle, Bits, Von Wiederschauser, of course.
Okay, well, I appreciate the enthusiasm on this fine evening. The stage is set for the Virtual Ball Boys Football League. The commissioners are backstage working with the teams as we speak right now, trying to figure out who's going to end up making it on to these 8 teams. What are you expecting tonight, Chet?
So there's a large pool of these potential players, and a lot of them may not even be here right now. The cards are really on the table, and by on the table, I mean still in the package in the convenience stores all around the world right now. Because we don't know who's going to get picked.
Yeah, it is the most unknown of draft pools that we know, because basically, if you don't know yet how this works, there are a plethora of video game characters in which these 8 teams that have been formed over the course of the last few months have to choose from. And some of them might be the main characters that you know of and love, and some of them might be these side characters that you haven't even thought of before, but these characters will now have a place in the VBFL.
These general managers see a lot in certain characters, and there will definitely be some surprises.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to guiding you through all picks of the first 3 rounds, because that's when our contract runs out. So with that being said, it looks like the first pick is in. Let us go to the commissioner to hear what the Per Fanboy Privateers have chosen. With the first pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Per Fanboy Privateers select Kirby, running back, Kirby series.
Oh, wow. Starting out strong.
Yeah, Kirby is a small, pink, lovable boy from Planet Popstar that has graced Nintendo hardware since 1992, born out of the brain of Masahiro Sakurai. Kirby has gone on many adventures, taking down many terrors that have tried to invade Dreamland. He is known for being able to absorb enemies and copy their abilities. Chet, what do you think of this pick, and how well do you think that Kirby's going to do on the Privateers?
Kirby was drafted to be a running back, and as a result, he's going to be able to hold the ball in that mouth of his, and it's going to be very hard for the ball to be stripped away from him. He's going to have some of the best ball handling, some of the least amounts of fumbles we've probably ever seen. The only downside is that it's going to be really wet afterwards.
The moisture is part of the competition, my friend. But
you don't have to tell me that.
So we move on now. A big name taken off the board early on, but what will the Anaconda Mountaineers do with their pick? Let us go to the commissioner. With the second pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Anaconda Mountaineers select Isabel, wide receiver, Animal Crossing series. Isabel has become a staple of the Animal Crossing franchise, starting out in 2013 when she was the assistant to a mayor that had no idea that they were going to be mayor. Fast forward 7 years, and Isabelle now works alongside Tom Nook to make sure island life is as relaxing and beautiful as it can be. A wholesome choice very early on in this draft, Chet.
Yeah, I really like this pick a lot. In her Super Smash Brothers appearance, Isabelle is known for using a fishing rod from her home series, and it can be used to grab things out of the air very easily. She may not have a lot in stature in terms of her height, but her reach and her ability to work on contested catches and get the ball down to her when she needs it is going to be critical for this team.
This is not going to be a woof of a pick for this Anaconda Mountaineers. They are going to be just fine with this pick, and it will be a start. She will be a starting wide receiver, and most likely one of the best wide receivers that we'll see come through the VBBFL. Let us move on. The commissioner is coming back out. Here is the pick for the Weatherford Sheriffs. With the third pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Weatherford Sheriffs select Samus Aran, quarterback, Metroid Series. Samus Aran was raised in K2L on Earth and now is an ex-soldier of the Galactic Federation who has become a bounty hunter for them. Her goal in life is to destroy space pirates and their leader, Ridley, who killed her parents and destroyed her colony. She has appeared in every Metroid game in the series. Probably our strongest, both literally and figuratively, pick of this entire draft thus far, Chet.
So Samus is known for using her ranged weapons to attack. Using that and being accurate with her hits, she's going to be extremely accurate with her ball. I love this pick right here. She's also used to thinking on her feet, being in stressful situations. So this will really boost her skills and her quick thinking in terms of reading the defense, reading her team, and putting the ball to the right player.
Yes, and Samus is going to be, I think, could be the face of this league, most likely. A leader in her own right, despite her bounty hunter, behind the shadows type character arc. And we move on here. The fourth pick is owned by the Phoenix City Phoenixes in this draft. And let's hear what they have done. With the fourth pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Phoenix City Phoenixes select Steve, quarterback, Minecraft series. The origins of Steve are mostly unknown, but as a survivalist, he has spent many moments traveling the world and fighting off mobs. There are rumors that there are multiples of them, but this may be because Steve can do almost everything, from hunting to mining to building cute houses with many flowers. Chet, this is a little bit of an unknown character to a lot of people because, well, Steve is just everywhere. But what makes Steve the perfect candidate to be the quarterback for the Phoenix City Phoenix?
Steve is a great pick for this because he is going to be able to get out of tough situations probably better than maybe any other quarterback. Like you mentioned, mobs. He's constantly chased by them. He's able to overcome them, not be defeated by them. Their defenses are going to be coming at him the entire game, and his ability to get away, be mobile, and also his experience with throwing the ball as if he were doing ranged attacks with a bow would be perfect for this quarterback position.
Yeah, there will not be any shortage of action when it comes to Steve. Even him, dumping fishing in the water or anything like that. He's going to be probably the most interesting character to watch as we go in to the league. Let us move on. The Brainerd Paladins are next up. Here's who they have picked. With the fifth pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Brainerd Paladins select Jesse Faden, quarterback, control. Vaden grew up in ordinary Wisconsin and is currently the director of the Federal Bureau of Control, in a position that was thrust upon her upon the death of the previous director. She works with a team to take down interdimensional hostile beings. Her supernatural abilities include teleportation, levitation, and much, much more. Chet, what do you think?
She's going to be able to use those teleportation abilities and levitating, other just psychic abilities to help her with her ball skills. In addition, being the leader of an organization such as Control is going to give her that leadership experience to be the positive and compelling face and leader on her team.
So we've seen 3 quarterbacks taken in a row here. Do you think that this is? Do you think of with the 3 choices in a row that there's going to be a run on? Do you think it's going to be harder for these teams to find quarterbacks later on, knowing that these 3 quarterbacks are just taken off the board?
Well, it kind of depends, because we have these 3 quarterbacks right here who all went off. We're starting teams from scratch, right? We don't have any sort of history with them whatsoever. So I think that finding your quarterback early, the face of your franchise, is a very important thing to do. However, we have 2 of these picks in Jesse Faden and Steve kind of came from unknown origins. So we still have a lot of these well-known quarterback characters who can rise up to the occasion.
Absolutely, and we'll see if the East Chicago Blacksmiths go quarterback here. Let's see what they do. With the 6th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the East Chicago Blacksmiths select Bayonetta, kicker, Bayonetta series. One of 2 surviving Umbra witches, Bayonetta was trapped in a coffin for 500 years before being rescued. Her experience in the bullet arts and magic has led her to take on angels and gods with malicious plans for the universe. She stands as one of the strongest female protagonists in video game history. Chet, what do you think of this pick, a kicker, very early on?
Listen, I just talked about quarterbacks being important for your team. But if your kicker is bad, you're up Schitt's Creek without paddle, my friend. Bayonetta has some of the best legs in video games, and it's hard to deny that. And she's going to use those legs. She's going to use her witchy powers to help ensure that the ball will always go through the uprights.
Now, it should be known to the audience as well that all these characters that are being drafted, it may not be just these singular positions that they will play. They will also have a role on a defense or on an offense as well. So Bayonetta can probably be used in many different ways, and we'll see how the East Chicago Blacksmiths use her as well. We move forward here. The 7th pick in the draft is owned by the Mansfield Weavers. Let's see what they do. With the 7th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Mansfield Weavers select Kano, Defense World Combat Series. Kano is as original as it gets to the Mortal Kombat franchise. He is an Australian mercenary member of the Black Dragon crime cartel. Part of his face is made out of metal, and his one eye is used as a laser. He is known for his knife throwing and ripping the beating hearts out of the chest of his enemies. It's a little extreme for VBBFL, but do you think it's going to work for the Mansfield Weavers?
See, usually this is our first defensive pick of the draft. And you would expect the defense and the kind of people who would play defense in this league would be more accustomed to a bigger, maybe more villainous type characters, and Kano kind of fits that bill. But I can see Kano end up being one of the more smart, analytical types of defensive leaders, thanks to his laser eye, which he can use to scan the offense, what they're going to do, and figure out a way to figure out what they're trying to do before they do it. Analyze them, relay the information to his defensive team, and try to put a stop to the ball moving forward.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure. There might be some character issues here with Kano, but I'm sure that the Weavers will address it, and they'll make sure that Kano, moves forward as a bright spot on this team, especially since he is essentially their franchise guy. He was picked number 1 on their board.
Of course.
Let us move on. The last pick of the first round goes to the Escondido Artisans. Let's see what they do. With the 8th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Escondido Artisans select Phone Guy, wide receiver, Five Nights at Freddy's series. Phone Guy is a guiding light as a security guard at Freddy Fazbear's pizzeria. Despite being hesitant and nervous about the activities of the pizzeria, he will help any new guards that come through with dealing with the nightly occurrences of the restaurant. But while he gives, he also receives. So, Chet, this is a stunning pick early on. Even though he was on the board, he was a little lower down on the big board, and kind of got on there with a little bit of a whim. And for him to be picked 8th overall, what's your thoughts on this?
It's a shocking pick, without a doubt the most shocking in this entire draft, because I don't know what to make of him. We never see his body. We don't know how he's built. All that we know is that he's a receiver. He's a receiver because phones. So he's going to have an impact on this team, and maybe that will be a good thing. No one knows what he's going to do, so no one can plan for what he's going to do.
It is the biggest mystery that we can expect, but 8th overall, clearly the Escondido Artisans think highly of Phone Guy. And with that, the end of the first round is here. It is a snake draft format, so we start again with the Escondido Artisans. Who is going to join Phone Guy on the roster?
Let's find out.
With the 9th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Escondido Artisans select Shante, kicker, Shante Series. Shante is a high human, high genie. Oh my God. Shante is a half human, half genie who hasn't met her parents as they disappeared when she was just a baby. Still, as Skeleton's guardian genie, she has taken down pirates with her spiritual dancing and some magical abilities. She also has the ability to change into magical creatures. Shante, what's your thoughts on this, Chet?
So as a kicker, she's got to do some weird things. A lot of people equate kicking footballs to magic. At least it seems that way in a lot of scenarios. So her genie talents with her magic will contribute to helping her kick these field goals.
Absolutely. This is going to be a very interesting pick to follow. Early on, this draft is already having a lot of twists and turns, especially from the Artisans, from Phone Guy and Shante. But we'll see.
I think that these teams really want to just get their players before anyone else can.
Absolutely, and understandably so. A lot of great ones out there. All right, back to the Mansfield Weavers. Let's see what they do. With the 10th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Mansfield Weavers select Ratchet, running back, Ratchet & Clank series. Ratchet was born on planet Fastoon and grew up on planet Velden. He has since become a traveler with his buddy Clank and has taken on many foes across multiple galaxies. Although his friends describe him as cocky at times, his traveling days over time have changed him and made him more appreciative of the people around him. What do you think of this?
So with Ratchet being a little bit smaller for a running back, I still think that he's got a lot going for him. Still pretty well built, still pretty physical, and Ratchet has a lot of experience with ranged weapons, particularly his wrench and his guns. And running backs like to gun through the defense. So I think that experience is going to help Ratchet a lot.
What is your opinion on the fact that he very closely represents your name, only there's a rat in front of Chet?
You have changed my life forever.
I'm just hey, look, I'm just pointing it out. Just dropping these truth bombs. Let us move on to the 11th.
Ratchet and Avery.
Ratchet. Let's move on to the 11th pick in this draft. It is East Chicago Blacksmiths. With the 11th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the East Chicago Blacksmiths select Robin, quarterback, Fire Emblem series. Robin is a tactician who knows their way around swords and tomes. They have guided armies against opposing forces by being able to create plans on a whim. While they tend to be self-conscious off the field, they know how to take command of a serious situation. Robin has appeared in 5 games in the Fire Emblem series. Chet, what's your thoughts on Robin here?
Robin is going to be one of the smartest quarterbacks out here. Like you said, they are a tactician. They can strategize and help out with plays, putting them together, and knowing when to pick up that RPO, when they are able to when they're able to be risky, or when they need to play safe. Robin is going to be one of the smartest quarterbacks in this league, and I think it's a great pick, especially to pair with such an eccentric Bayonetta.
Absolutely. This is looking to be one of the smartest teams right now being built in the league. Let us move on. The 12th pick with the Brain Nerd Paladins. With the 12th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Brain Nerd Paladins select Kratos, Defense, God of War series. Kratos, born in Sparta, is a god who is the son of Zeus and Callisto. He served as a soldier and general in his demigod life before his wife and daughter were killed by him on accident. He is a vengeful man who has superhuman strength and durability. He's been the focus of most God of War games. What do you think of this one, Chet?
Kratos is going to be one of those just big-bodied, bloodthirsty players who's going to hunt down the offensive players who have the ball and tackle them almost immediately. He's going to be one of the I think one of the premier defensive players in the league, if he doesn't rip anyone's heads off.
Yeah, this might be even dangerous to draft someone as powerful as this, but he's gonna definitely get the job done, and I'm sure there'll be some rules and regulations that the commissioners will keep in mind when handling a character quite like Kratos. Let's move on. The Phoenix City Phoenixes are up next. With the 13th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Phoenix City Phoenixes select Peabody, wide receiver, Portal series. Peabody is one of 2 robots developed by Aperture to handle many tests that they have developed. Peabody and his buddy Atlas have experience with portal guns and solving any problem that comes their way through specific placement of said portals. They are very good at following commands most times. Chat, the Peabody chosen over Atlas and other portal characters. What do you think about the selection?
That has everything to do with height. Peabody is a tall robot with long arms. Can you imagine any better frame for a wide receiver than just tall with long arms? And to be fair, Peabody also has experience catching things while airborne. And I'm not talking about the things being airborne. I'm talking about Peabody being airborne.
Very true.
So he's going to have a good amount of ball handling. He's going to be tall enough to get what he needs. And yeah, I think it's a great pick.
Absolutely, a fun pick for the Phoenixes, who Peabody now joins Steve. It'll be an interesting connection there. Let's move on to the Weatherford Sheriffs on their next pick. With the 14th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Weatherford Sheriffs select Gengar, running back, Pokemon series. A first-generation Pokemon, Gengar is a ghost poison type that is the final evolved form of the original ghost Pokemon. Known as the Shadow Pokemon, they are known for living in dark areas and playing practical jokes on unsuspecting victims. His abilities include Shadow Punch and, weirdly, Licking. What do you think of Gengar?
Being a ghost type and being able to pass through things, Gengar is going to be able to use those abilities to pass through the line like a ghost. Gengar is also known for having a great speed stat, meaning that it can not only move through things, but move quickly. I think it's a great pick for running back, and especially with someone as strong as Samus on the team, it's a great combination.
Yeah, and it's their first Pokemon off the board, and I have a feeling that Pokemon's going to play a very big role in this draft. Any particular thoughts on Gengar being the first Pokemon off, or do you think that it kind of fits well that they are the first Pokemon off the board?
I absolutely think that Gengar, if I can't think of anyone that would be before Gengar, but Gengar is a fantastic option to go first because of the phasing ability and for Gengar's high speed.
Absolutely. All right, Anaconda Mountaineers are now back up. They much earlier in the draft took Isabelle. Who's going to join Isabelle? Let's find out. With the 15th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Anaconda Mountaineers select Yoshi, wide receiver, Mario series. A jolly dinosaur that also has a popular spin-off series, Yoshi has been a helpful sidekick for Mario as he has carried the plumber through many levels and adventures. He is most known for being able to flutter across the gaps and catch things with his tongue, which he can then turn into eggs if he so chooses. Chet, what's your thoughts on Yoshi, and are we going to have yet another moist problem here in the VBBFL?
Absolutely, we're going to have some more moist issues because Yoshi is going to, actually kind of similarly to Isabelle, Yoshi's long tongue can be used to grab that ball out of the air. Yoshi's also got some good speed and some good jumping prowess. And paired with someone like Isabelle, this is a stacked wide receiver duo that is going to be hard to overcome for a lot of, I think, defenses to handle. So starting off the draft with two excellent wide receivers is a power move by these Mountaineers.
Yeah, they're getting the weapons ready for their quarterback, who we just don't know who it's going to be yet, but we will stay tuned to find out about that. With that, we've reached the end of the second round with the Perth Amboys with their final pick of the second round. Let's see what happens. With the 16th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Perth Amboy Privateers select Sly Cooper, wide receiver, Sly Cooper series. The Robin Hood of the video game landscape. Sly Cooper is a gentleman thief who steals from criminals. Losing his parents at a young age, he has dedicated his life to their craft, using his agile skills and stopping criminals from their evil deeds. He can balance, climb, and pickpocket. Another wide receiver off the board. What's your thoughts?
So Sly Cooper in college played running back, and you would think that would be more suitable to his skill set in terms of the sneaking, in terms of trying not to get caught. But it works out well, actually, for wide receiver, being able to not only be super agile out there on the field, but also sneak behind defenses and be able to be a target without them realizing that he's a target is a very valuable skill that you now pair with Kirby, one of the best ball handlers in the league.
Yes, the weapons around around Perth Amboy are also building. We'll see. Let's see if they can go quarterback here very soon. They're next up in the third round. Let's see what happens. With the 17th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Perth Amboy Privateers select the Prince of Cosmos, quarterback, Katamari series. The son of the monarchs of all cosmos, the prince is tasked with rolling a Katamari in order to create celestial bodies. His rolling abilities has the prince trained in gathering even the biggest of objects. Although he is speechless by nature, he is the future leader we can only hope we can get. This is a big ol' move, a shocking move, but a fascinating move at that. That's who Kirby and Sly Cooper will be getting balls from. What do you think about this?
How many ball jokes can I make in one segment? Prince Cosmos is known for rolling societies up into balls. He knows how to handle balls. Moving quickly, he's going to be hard to take down due to his balls' massive size. In terms of working with Kirby and Sly Cooper, having two characters who are very unorthodox in terms of how they would play their certain positions works out very well for another very unorthodox quarterback here.
It's going to be interesting because we don't have a ton of experience seeing the Prince of Cosmos being one to throw balls. They mostly roll the balls. But do you think that this unorthodox strategy of having a quarterback that is not used to throwing it is going to work out in the long run for Perth Amboy?
When you know balls, you know balls.
You know what? That's very valid. Let us move forward. The 18th pick is up. Anaconda Mountaineers. Who's their third pick overall? With the 18th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Anaconda Mountaineers select Jazargo, offensive line, Elder Scrolls series. The first offensive lineman taken in the draft, Jazargo, is a Kaji apprentice of the College of Winterhold as part of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim game. He is a potential follower and is eligible to become a member of the Blades. When not accompanying the Dragonborn, he can be found at the College of Winterhold, either in the Hall of Attainment or the Hall of the Elements. What do you think of Jazargo here, the first offensive lineman?
Jazargo's known for using fire magic, and that fire magic can really help out with protecting this offense. We still don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the Mountaineers, but whoever they are, they're going to have a reliable cat person protecting them with their fire magic. Let's just hope that they can stand the heat.
Absolutely. That's a fascinating pick, but very important to protect the quarterback. Once again, we are not too sure who that's going to be yet, but a good first step towards that direction. Let's see what the Weatherford Sheriffs have to pick now with their 19th. With the 19th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Weatherford Sheriff select Crash Bandicoot, wide receiver, Crash Bandicoot series. Crash is a mutant Eastern Bard Bandicoot who was genetically enhanced by the Crash Bandicoot series' main antagonist, Dr. Neo Cortex, and soon escaped from Cortex's castle after a failed experiment in the Cortex Vortex. Crash is a lovable character throughout many of the platforming games that have been put out amongst the series, and just recently, it was announced that Crash will get a fourth game in the series. It's About Time, coming out this fall. What do you think of this pick, Chet?
So Crash, his biggest thing is he is one of the toughest and hardest to tackle players out there. With his spin move, he's going to be able to shake off almost any defender that tries to tackle him. The one thing I worry about is his ball handling ability, being able to hang on to that with all that spinning that he does. But paired with players such as Samus and Gengar, I think that this is a really good foundation with a lot of offense for this team.
Absolutely. I mean, there is some question about whether or not Crash will be able to control himself in these kind of environments, in especially a high pressure game. But if he's effective, it's going to be hard to stop this offense. Let us move on.
He is also from Australia, Australia, which is sandy, just like Texas.
There you go. Fits well into the environment as well. In Kangaroo
Yes.
Stadium. Phoenix City is next. Let's see what they do with the 20th. With the 20th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Phoenix City Phoenixes select Dig Dug, defense, Dig Dug series. An arcade pick for this draft. The Dig Dug first appeared in the arcades in 1982 by Namco. The player controls Dig Dug, going underground, and must use a weapon to inflate the monsters to make them pop or crush them under a falling rock. What a strange pick for this one, but do you think it's gonna work here?
See, I'm not sure. This is one of those picks that you gotta wonder what's going through the GM's mind when they're picking it. It's early on. There's still a ton of super viable options left out there. So this just means that the GM for the Phoenix City Phoenixes really believes in Dig Dug.
Yeah, and it's such a small stature too. I do just wonder if Dig Dug will be used as maybe we'll use the inflated monsters to defend against these goal line stands. I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, Dig Dug on the defense for the Phoenix City Phoenixes. Let us move forward here to the third pick for Brainerd. Let's hear it. With the 21st pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Brainerd Paladins select Greninja, running back, Pokemon series. Greninja is a 6th generation Pokemon, a water dark type. It evolves from Frogadier, starting at level 36. It is the final form of Froakie. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Chet, you're the Pokemon expert here. That's Froakie's correct?
Froakie. You read the I as an L, my friend.
Yeah, it looks like an L in this when it's typed up like this. I don't know why that is the case. But anyways, Greninja is known best for having his tongue sticking out the entire time, but is known for his, you guessed it, ninja abilities. What do you think about this one, Chet?
The tongue is like a scarf, dude. That's fucking badass. So Greninja is a great pick for this, for the running back position, because Greninja will be able to sneak by the unsuspecting defense when it's given the ball. Great pick for a running back.
All right, next up is the 22nd pick in the draft. Let's see what the Blacksmiths do. With the 22nd pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the East Chicago Blacksmiths select Empoleon, defense, Pokemon series. We're now on a run of Pokemon. Empoleon is also a generation, it's a Generation 4 Pokemon, right? Is that correct? Yes. Generation 4 Pokemon.
Yes.
Is a dual type Water/Steel Pokemon. It evolves from Prinplup, starting at level 36, and is the final form of Piplup. It looks like a Trident and a Penguin combined. What do you think about this one?
So Empoleon is great. Steel types in Pokemon are known for being very defensive, and so being on the defense here is a great fit for it. It's going to be able to kind of be that wall that's going to be hard for other offensive players to get behind. A little bit of a weird trifecta here with a kicker, a quarterback, and a defense for the East Chicago Blacksmiths. Losing a bit of those skill players, or waiting on those, so we'll see if they're able to get some other ones later in the draft.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pick, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Empoleon does on the field. Let's move on here. The Mansfield Weavers with the 23rd pick. With the 23rd pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Mansfield Weavers select Frank West, offensive line, Dead Rising series. Frank West, first appeared in the original Dead Rising as the protagonist. He is a freelance journalist who basically gets trapped in the mall and has to fight off a bunch of zombies. At least that's my understanding of the Dead Rising series as a whole. What do you think of Frank West here for the Mansfield Weavers?
Frank West seems like an excellent pick for the offensive line. He's known for protecting people from zombies, and now he'll be protecting the quarterback from the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Frank West is. It's amazing that the not more Dead Rising characters are being chosen just for the fact that they are on the defensive 99% of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
So Frank West, the first one off the board. Let's move on here. The next pick and the last pick that we're going to bring to you here for round 3 is the Escondido Artisans. Let's see what they do. With the 24th pick in the 2020 VBBFL draft, the Escondido Artisans select Mennonite, running back, Kirby series. All right, it is Kirby's archenemy / friend in later games. Basically Mennonite is a smaller. It is Kirby, a blue Kirby, with a mask and a cape and a sword. Mennonite is a leader of an army of soldiers known as Mennonites and captures a large airship called Battleship Halberd, which may accompany him into the heat of battle. Mennonite is known for wanting to face the greatest of enemies to prove that he is the strongest of them all. What do you think of Mennonite trying to compete with Kirby almost as a running back?
So where Kirby succeeds more in holding onto the ball, Mennonite is going to succeed more in brute forcing his way through the defense. He's got that armor. He's got a sword. He's going to be able to force his way through. He still has that small stature, so he's going to be harder to harder to tackle because he has a much lower center of gravity. And I think it's a great pick to make sure that the ball is able to be run through.
Absolutely. And with that, that's the first 3 rounds of this draft. But we are not done yet. This draft is going to be going on off the mic as we do the next 9 rounds of picking players. But our job is done as commentators. Next time you hear the podcast, we'll be back with the 2 commissioners. Thank you all so much for listening to us ramble. I have some whiskey waiting for me back in my hotel room. Chet, thank you again for joining me for this.
Of course. Let's go Buckeyes.
Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
How shocked would you be if I said I could say Alakazaba, Alabalo, Wiesna, Tiki Tala, Fushbar, Griddle, Vitz von Wienerschauser again?
That's really good. I feel like I have a weird sense that word has actually been said already on this podcast. I don't know why. I got a weird sense. Well, we want to thank our buddies Buttonpusher and Chet Avery for joining us and for recapping the first 3 rounds. We could not be here for the other rounds and host while we were dealing with the draft because that would just be a lot on our plate.
So much was happening. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, we're sweating.
We had to call people up with our multi-dimensional phone.
Yeah. No, it was absolute mayhem. In fact, this is like a week after the draft. Like it has been a while since the draft happened. We had to really recover and get everyone gathered, but we're all locked in now. So we figured that with the rest of this episode, we just gotta go through the teams that have been made, go through the roster real quick, and just talk about our takeaways from this draft. And let's start off. We'll go in I guess alphabetical order via conference. So we'll start with the Eastern Conference.
All right. So East Chicago, Indiana Blacksmiths. Do we want to say the GM names?
Sure. Yeah, we had eight of our friends and family. Well, at least family for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and Gabe. we had a bunch of our friends basically take on the roles of the GMs and draft these teams. And we'll thank them again at the end of the podcast. But
Yes.
big thanks for them for doing this. So yeah, Jess, our good friend Jess was the GM for the Chicago Blacksmiths. And so you're gonna read off the rosters, right, or the draft board?
Yes.
Okay, the
Yeah.
rosters. Cool.
I'll read it. Yeah, I'm gonna read off the rosters themselves, just so
Okay.
we can see where all the positions are.
Cool.
So, Jess drafted 2 quarterbacks in Robin and Leon Kawada from Danganronpa, I believe. 2 running backs in Toad and Waddle Dee. 2 wide receivers in Sable and Pitt. 2 offensive lines in the Ice Climbers and Korin, and then 3 defensive players in Empoleon, Sakharov, and Inkling, and then kicker Bayonetta.
Yes, absolutely. And so
Really
yeah,
balanced team overall. Nothing pops out. You've got 2 of each position, a good backup quarterback, some help on the defense. It's good. It's very balanced.
I like it. And I think my favorite is the running backs. I love Toad and Wallaby. Both they're short in nature, but I think both will prove different strengths. I think Wallaby will be on maybe the quicker side of things. I think Toad can bash people's head in with his mushroom head. I'm all for the running back duo. I think that's my favorite of this bunch here.
Yeah.
Well, I think the defense. I'm surprised a little bit. I know that Inkling was in defense initially. What was our reasoning for putting Inkling on the defense again?
I don't remember exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'm interested to see how we might be able to incorporate Inkling defensively. At least how we would describe such a thing. Maybe trap people in goo or in ink rather, something like that. Yeah, really good overall. Yeah. Next up is the Mansfield Weavers. We start out with the quarterback is Mario himself, Mario. Running back, there's 2 running backs, Ratchet and Atreus from the God of War series. Wide receivers are Sonic and Flappy Bird. The offensive line consists of Frank West, Chris Redfield, from the Resident Evil series, and Captain Falcon rounds out the offensive line, and the defense is Kano, M Bison. Is it M Bison or is it like?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Bison, yep.
Yeah, I don't know I think that's a Street Fighter thing.
Yes.
I don't know Street Fighter as well. M Bison and Shadow the Hedgehog on defense, and then the kicker is Fox, and that draft was courtesy of Ricky,
yes.
our good friend Gabe's brother. Who participated, couldn't actually make it to the draft itself, but still ended up putting in basically his board.
Very appreciated.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Ricky, you're probably not.
That's okay. Well, if he is, then we greatly appreciate it. So what's your thoughts on this one?
I really like how defensive this team is. You have 3 defensive players, and there are a couple teams that have 3 defense, but not only 3 defensive players, but 3 offensive line, and I think that sense of protection is going to give this team a little bit of an edge compared to other teams. Just in that defensive front, we'll see if that pays off in the end. If having a good defensive team changes anything compared to others.
Yeah, I can't speak for Chris Whitefield necessarily, but I like how these offensive linemen are taller by nature. A little bit, and I loved the Flappy Bird pick. That was another like Prince of Cosmos was maybe one of the more far like really off like that none of us really was expecting that one. Flappy Bird was even more random, but I love it. I think I think Flappy Bird's going to be a perfect wide receiver for us to analyze and talk about.
Totally.
So yeah, next up.
Next up is the Perth Amboy Privateers. Prince Cosmos and Big Boss as their 2 quarterbacks. And these 2 were drafted right next to each other. No, they weren't. By the team. These 2 were their 3rd and 4th picks, but it was around later.
Yeah.
Kirby as the running back, Sly Cooper and Octodad, which was an amazing pick, I think, for wide receiver. Offensive line of Zelda, Undyne, and Matt the Me from the Wii Sports series. Defensive Pyramid Head Bowser and Cooking Mama, and the kicker Wii Fit Trainer. Another very defensive team with some really out there picks that's going to make this one of the more unorthodox teams out there.
Of course, the more unorthodox team was drafted by our good friend Matt Walsh, who you all
the
very
mind
much
of Matt Walsh is a wonderful place.
Yeah. Just a funny story real quick. The Matt Me pick, Matt warned me about this pick, that he was going to go in this direction. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. And then I totally forgot about it. And then he said, Matt the Me again. And I was just like, wait a minute, you can't, we're not doing self-insert characters here. And then I had to be explained to again that Matt...
Again, for the second or third time.
Matt the Me is his own character in the Wii Sports series. Very creative, but I love the offensive line overall with him and Undyne and Zelda. I think those are
it is stacked.
Those are the stars of this team. I think even with Prince of Cosmos, even with Kirby being the number 1 overall pick here,
we got Cooking Mama, we got Octodad. It's great.
Yes, Cooking Mama has some controversy behind her with her Bitcoin controverscy or whatever the hell it was. But I'm sure the team can get over it.
That thing that didn't even happen. It was just the developers using all the wrong words at all the wrong time.
It's like Cooking Mama is involved in like insider trading or something.
Yeah.
Next up is the Phoenix City Phoenixes. The quarterback is Steve. No backup quarterback here. Running backs is Playa from the St. Rose series and Dry Bones from the Mario series. Wide receiver Peabody, Kamek, and the Enderman from the Minecraft series. And then offensive line consists of Donkey Kong, Piranha Plant, and
Piranha Pants.
Piranha Pants.
Piranha Pants.
That's gonna be.
That's the episode title.
Oh, no, this is a big episode. I can't drown it out with Piranha Pants.
Piranha Pants.
I can't. No, man. If I remember, I'll put it at the very bottom of the description or episode or whatever. Okay. We'll set that. You know what? That's gonna be our first merchandise item that we'll put out there as Piranha Pants. And Zangief, from I think Street Fighter.
Yes.
Then defense is Dig Dug and Spudo.
Spadow.
Plants
vs. Zombies.
And then the kicker, Blaziken. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Very offensive team with 3 wide receivers, especially 3 very capable wide receivers, and a mobile quarterback, and 3 offensive linemen. There's going to be some good protection here.
This offense might be the strongest in the league.
We'll have to see once we see them all.
Yeah, it's very strong. I think my favorite pick of this bunch is the Piranha Plant and Donkey Kong. I think that the like you said, the offensive line definitely another strong part of this team, and I like those 2 picks to protect Steve in this one.
Very weak defense though. I mean, there's no big body. It's all like the bend don't break defense. So they're gonna have a hard time stopping the opposing offense, but their offense is going to be great.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could be that the characters on the offense might help the defense in terms of defensive statistics. When we get to that part of things, that could end up balancing the team out a little bit more. So next up is the Anaheim Mountaineers.
Here we go. Okay, so their quarterbacks: Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, Chaz McFreely. Running back, Lydia. I like
how of all the players that you could have given the series title to, you're not going to explain who Chaz McFreely is.
Everyone knows who Chaz McFreely is. Taz McFreely is from the My Sim series, one of the defining series for Chris and mine's friendship. So
Yes.
that's pretty cool. This team is the Phoenix City Phoenixes are coached by Matt Litt, because we
Okay.
can't have enough Matts. And the Anaconda Mountaineers, this current team is Kelcie.
Yes.
Uh, the wide receivers for the Mountaineers, holy shit, Yoshi, Olrun, and Isabel. Excellent choice. Jazargo and Grunt on the offensive line, Jigglypuff and Sanders Cohen on defense, and then kickers Nil and Boomer. The one of the only teams I think to draft 2 kickers. There might have been some other ones. There was one other team that drafted 2 kickers. So
Yeah, I think so. I definitely. So Boomer from Animal Crossing and Nil from I believe Horizon.
Yes.
Zero Dawn. That's the situation there. I think if I had to pick one aspect of this team that I really like, it is the defense. I just love the fact that Jigglypuff is gonna wreak havoc as a defensive character on this team. Very much looking forward to it. But I do like the offense for this team. I think it has a good group going. Not as many offensive linemen, but a lot of weapons for the quarterback to use, and Commander Shepard, known for their leadership ability. It's definitely gonna work. Next up is the Brainerd Paladins. The quarterbacks, Jesse Faden, and Mewtwo. The running backs, Grey Ninja and Faith Connors from the Mirror's Edge series. Wide receiver, King Boo, Diddy Kong, and Rob. I'm sorry, excuse me, King Boo and Diddy Kong's wide receivers. Offensive line is Rob and Womp. Rob from just Nintendo generally and Smash Bros. And Womp from Mario. Defense, Kratos and the heavy character from Team Fortress 2.
This is one of my favorite off-the-board picks, I think, of the entire draft.
Yes. The kickers are Chun-Li and Chun-Li, I think, from Street Fighter, and Eggman from Sonic.
Yes. Another team with 2 kickers. 2 of every position, actually, looking at this.
Yeah.
Might be the only team that did that. So props to the coach Jacob for doing this. Very balanced team. We got a lot of strong things. I think even in doing 2 of every position, one of the 2 has some oomph to them to kind of bring it out. Like I look at the Womp, the big fucking wall from Mario.
Yeah, there is some real strategy to some of these picks here, and I think having I think the wide receiver group might be overshadowed a bit by a strong running back core, but I actually like the wide receiver group a lot here. I think King Boo could be used in an elusive sense. Diddy Kong would probably be the one that's targeted the most. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And that was Jacob.
Yes.
For that one. Next up,
the Escondido Artisans, coached by or GM'd by Gabe. We have Kumatora from Mother 3 and Asgore from Undertale as the quarterbacks. Our running backs are Meta Knight and Ness. Wide receivers, fucking Phone Guy and Foxy. Both from Five Nights at Freddy's. Offensive line, Claire Redfield from Resident Evil and Suicune, the Pokemon. Defense of Bonnie from FNAF, Incineroar, and Wolf. I know Gabe likes FNAF. I wonder if he drafted 3 of them just to get under my skin. And then kicker, Shantae.
Phone Guy is going to be the hardest character for us to even get into.
Absolutely.
To try to break down. But because of the funny pun that he said, we couldn't resist.
I am contractually obligated to let him be on the big board because of the pun. I signed something.
You signed the deal with the joke devil.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
That's why my jokes are always so good.
Are we sure about? No, kidding. I consider this. I consider this a potential quarterback competition a little bit. Because I think that both of these characters are very strong in their quarterback ways. I understand why Kumatora is going to be considered over Ascor, but just don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Ascor just tries to take that job, with his performance. Yeah, I like it. Next up is, and last but not least, is the Weatherford Sheriffs. By the way, Kelcie, for those who know, is my sister. Anthony is her fiance and my future brother-in-law. So he drafted this team. Quarterback is Samus. The running backs Gengar and Singed. Singed from LoL, I think?
League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Yes.
Wide receivers Crash Bandicoot, Tracer from Overwatch, and Lucio. I think
Also Overwatch.
There you go. Offensive line includes Leon Kennedy. From
Resident Evil.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm trying. I'm trying to switch back and forth. The Wrecking Ball from Overwatch.
That's the hamster character.
Yes, yes, and the Alawi. I
don't remember.
Alloy. Alright, so ILLAOI. That's League of Legends or Overwatch. Either one of those. He chose a lot from those. That's League of Legends.
He chose a lot of League of Legends, Resident Evil, and Overwatch characters.
Yes. So that's why I was like, it's either one of those. Jill Valentine from Resident Evil on the defense, with Zach from Overwatch.
League of Legends.
Fuck. Okay, and then
I played Overwatch, so I know who the Overwatch characters are.
And then kicker. The kicker is Joker from the Persona series.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think about this one?
This rivals the wide receiver core of the Mountaineers.
Okay. Oh, and that's the couple right there.
Yeah, because Tracer and Lucy are both super fast. Crash is I think great for this position. Excellent wide receiver core, very offensive team as well. It'll be interesting to see if the more offensive teams, such as the Sheriffs and the Mountaineers and the Phoenixes, how they do compared to the Weavers or the Privateers, where they're more defensive oriented.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, basically, Anthony was picking from the he's picking from the the games that require the different positions, like a tank and like a range character and like a supports and a healer, and generally and he picked League of Legends and Overwatch. It kind of works perfectly for a draft like this and for a game like this. And I think I'm glad that he kind of kept it in mind as he was building the team overall. So very nice job. And again, this project would not have been possible if it wasn't for the help of these 8 people. I greatly appreciate them. It wasn't too hard to get everyone gathered for it, but regardless, it was the fact that people really came through, and especially Kelcie came through last minute for us after someone had to drop out.
Props.
So I just really appreciate everyone on it. It's been really good, and I want to thank Matt Walsh for you know what
multiple things. First, I want to thank him for designing the logos for all of these teams.
Well, so that was what I was gonna get to, because that's what I was gonna say, because we were initially last week we were planning on doing a costume reveal. We just never got or a uniform reveal. Never got a chance to do that. But we will do it sometime this week.
Just check out our Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys.
Yeah, keep that in mind. We're gonna get that video up for you guys. where it will reveal the uniforms and the logos. He did a great job with the logos, and Matt, Matt, created the
Yes.
uniforms. Yeah, no, I want to thank Matt for that, for Matt Walsh for doing that, and yeah, I want to thank you, man, because this was a project that kind of just ended up being born from just a strange idea that I had that wasn't going to go anywhere, and then finally ended up going somewhere. And you kicked ass with the uniforms. You kicked ass with organizing
Thank you.
everything, organizing the spreadsheets and getting us on task with everything. And we're looking forward to the future on it.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
It's a lot of fun putting stuff like this together.
So, what is the future now of the VBBFL? Well, we're gonna take another week off, and then come back in 2 weeks for our next episode, where we're gonna start to we're gonna talk about the game for the first time, and that's the other thing that I wanted to thank Matt Walsh for, because he designed already a template that we will follow for executing the games between these teams. The only thing that we're going to have to do is assign stats to each player on these teams, and so that's going to take a lot of time. And for that reason, we can announce that starting with the episode in 2 weeks, we're going to go back to being a weekly podcast, just to start building these teams from the ground up. And we might do 2 teams in the episode, but we'll see. Because there's 12 players that we're worried about right now to assign stats to. We have a lot of work to do, so we'll see how much we could get done per episode. But that's gonna be our crux of things, especially with if football season happens this year. July is kind of the month where things begin to start picking up again, because everyone's going to be reporting to training camp. And one last thing too, we did have a special 13th round of this draft, where we had each GM choose a ball for their team to use on their offensive side of the ball. And I don't know how much this is really going to come into play, which is why it's like the very last thing that we are bringing up.
I don't think it's going to come and play at all.
But it's just it's just funny imagery for anyone out there who wants to draw. We want fan art, guys. This is hey, hi, my name is Chris. We at the VBB podcast really want your fan art for this, because we cannot possibly draw our own art for this, because we get copyright checked.
He's so busy.
Yeah, well, yeah,
give him a break.
Yeah, no, we want fan art of this. And we will make sure we're gonna make sure that we definitely will love to retweet any fan art that we see, and showcase it that we can on our Twitter account, because it could be a lot of fun, and again, we will provide the uniforms and what these players will be in, essentially, for the podcast next week. Yeah, so the balls that were drafted were objects from various video game series. So the first one for East Chicago was the Monokuma from the Danganronpa series. Then Mansfield took Scorpion's head
from Mortal Kombat.
The severed head.
Actual disembodied head. Yes.
Which is just freaking wild. Not as wild as Perth Amboy picking Lou, the baby from Death Stranding. So literally the tank they're going to be throwing around. Yes. Then the Phoenix City Phoenixes are going to be throwing around the Minecraft cake. The cake from normal. Minecraft. Yes. Then the Anaconda Mountaineers, Mimer.
I don't remember what this is from.
So this is God of War, and it's a severed head that supposedly Kratos carries around with him. I don't know enough about it, but yes, yet another severed or at least disembodied head, as a football. Brainerd chose Animal Crossing coconuts. Escondido chose the luxury ball from Pokemon, and the Weatherford Sheriff selected the cooking core.
The core that spits out recipes from Portal 1, not Portal 2. I think Anthony said Portal 2. The cooking core is not one of the Portal 2 cores at the very
Yes,
end.
yeah. So cooking
It
core.
is Portal
It's
1.
in fact, I think it's the very first core that you carry
Yes.
into the burning vault or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's it. Again, I can't thank everyone enough. A total of like 10 or 11 people worked on this project. It was a lot of fun, and I'm very proud to have a group of people around me that really worked to made this project
willing to
possible.
put up with our weird bullshit.
Yes, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it as we move on, and I know that people who sometimes people may tune into this podcast. I don't know why, for NFL news. We will talk NFL stuff next in our next podcast. It'll be a normal podcast next time, but we thought that this would be a special one that we really want to focus on this football league. So yeah, looking forward to it, and yeah, I'll see. Maybe I could put the rosters up on social media. We'll see. I'll just take a screenshot or something of what we have, because that would be a lot of work. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.
Kratos, born in Sparta, is a god who is the son of Zeus and Callisto. He serves as a soldier. Oh my god.
Soldier.
God, I just shut down there. He served as a shoulder. I thought writing these down would be a lot easier on me. I'm making it a lot harder on myself for whatever reason. Soldier.